Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome to this 200th, subscriber special video. Uh, so popular request, and I was surprised by this actually. I was glad that I could do this, and it was funny because I was thinking about doing this also at the same time because I know people have asked me before. But the popular request was actually for me to talk a little bit more about my personal life and talk about what I've come from or tell some stories about it. So what I decided to do was, not to make. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try to make this as interesting as possible. I think that when you yourself talk about your own life, it's sometimes hit or miss because I think for people, it might seem boring sometimes. It might seem, really interesting, and I don't know how everyone will see my life as a thing. So I'll try to keep it as interesting as possible. I'm gonna skip like many parts of it that I think were just boring and unnecessary. So I'm not gonna make this like a 50-hour long video. It'll be like 20 minutes at tops. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Please subscribe on my channel if you do like it. Please like, comments, share it. The whole nine. Anyways, so I guess I'll start off with my name. So my name is Aaron, of course. If you're new to my channel, but if you don't already know that, that's I say that in every video. I used to say BladeNinja when I first started this channel, but that's only because I didn't think I'd actually use my first name at all. I was born June 3rd, 1990. And don't I'm not worried about telling people my birthday because I've never understood. Like I know someone told me one time that they told someone their birthday and then they got hacked because apparently they used their birthday as a combination for passwords and stuff. I'm like, dude, are you kidding? I've never, one of the worst passwords I think in the world that they always tell you never to use it for is your birthday, which is really retarded. So don't do that. Don't ever use you don't ever use your birthday as a password. I'll tell you that right now. I don't personally. That's just stupid to me. But I was born in Queens, New York originally. I was only there for maybe a year. My parents were there, of course, a lot longer, but I was only there for a year. Uh, I was moved to a place called Coram, New York, which is on Long Island of New York. It's actually this very long strip that it actually an island. What it actually is though, and I always thought the story was kind of cool, is it's an iceberg technically that went up to the side of New York. Many years, many I mean like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and actually then got land formed on top of it, and then became an actual island. So I always thought that was kind of hysterical if you think about it, because it's like, wow, that's weird. um, but I lived in Coram for most of my life. Uh, I went to school. I went to school up to probably. Oh, I want to say it was ninth grade was my last year there. So I moved when I was in 10th grade to Pennsylvania, which I'm not gonna really talk too much about Pennsylvania because I don't really have anything per se not interesting in Pennsylvania. I just have more so I think more interesting stuff of New York, because that's a majority of my life was lived here in New York. I mean, even ended up coming back here. One of the funny things about me coming back to New York was I told my parents the day we moved. I said I most likely I feel it, and they went, "What do you feel?" I went, "I feel I'll be back to New York, especially to Long Island eventually. Might not be the same area because I'm not the same anymore, but." I always thought that was funny because I ended up coming back here eventually. I thought that was I always think that's kind of weird. I like foreshadow my own life. So for the most part of my life, it's been very interesting. I was always the kind of odd kid out when it came to a lot of things. When I was younger, I had very long hair up to like the seventh grade. Actually, I had very long hair. People can't see that about me now because they've never seen my older pictures. I try not to show those. I really hate when I used to have long hair. It's not, I liked it when I was younger. I think it's just that as I got older, I looked at it, I'm like, wow, what was I thinking? Um, but it was funny because I did have really long hair, so that got me into a lot of stuff with people. I think a lot of people didn't respect me with long hair and stuff like that. And I was also very tall for a young kid. Not like super tall. Like I knew people that are taller than me, but I was very tall. I was very a stocky. I was heavy set. I was. So I was treated. I don't want to say horribly because what's funny is I always tell people that their perception of like harder stories. Like I know people that have had harder times growing up and stuff like that, and I always tell people your perception and my perception of challenges is always going to be different. It's not ever fair to go, oh, my life was harder than yours, because what you might have dealt with, yeah, might be on a grander scale harder or harsher, but that was to you harder or harsher, or it might be also to someone else you tell a story to, but it's just different places, different things that you had to deal with. So I never compare my life and say, oh, my life was so much harder than other people. I never say that. I always say, to me, I had a very interesting childhood. It's not that my parents were awesome. I love my parents. My parents never ever I have an issue with ever. I swear to you. They're awesome. They were like probably one of my biggest supporters in life. They still are. Um, my mom and dad have always given me tools to succeed in life. My dad has always been the one that he's guided me a lot of times with things to do. Kind of he's kept my strength up in times that I felt like I needed to talk to someone about stuff. My mom has given me a lot of knowledge when it comes to, like, example, my writing skills came from my mom because she actually likes writing, and I loved to write, and she was very hard on me and on schoolwork and stuff when I was younger, to like write perfectly and to do this right and to do that right. So that's why I think I started getting into reading because of her, because I remember she made me read books, and I mean that's why I know for people that they're amazed by this, but I actually was able to read at college level. I think by the third grade or fourth grade, I was almost there already at a college level. I think it was realistically maybe at a high school level, but like more of I think they told me one time before it was like a junior level of high school. And by the fourth or fifth grade, I was already at college level because I could read college books. Like I could read, Frankenstein. I could read Dante's Inferno, stuff like that. I mean, I read those books more toward the later parts of my life, but I could read those without an issue because I read sections of them, and they were like amazed by that. I never understood that. Like when I was younger, I was like, well, what's so hard about that? And then they were like, well, that's actually very challenging to read those things. Some of those words are very big. I'm like, well, that's my mom. My mom was the school of hard knocks. She's Asian, so she always was very, very, very strong when it came to me studying and doing stuff like that. And as a kid, I used to go, oh, I hate this, it's BS, blah blah. And then as an adult, I really appreciated it more as you realize how I owe her a lot when it comes to that. It's something you might not understand fully when you're younger because you can't understand. I always tell people you can't fully grasp something that your parents taught you at an early age until it's too late, unfortunately. Luckily that I retained a lot of that stuff. I mean, my mom was the educational side of it. My dad was the side of never giving up and always making sure to push forward. So, I was one of those people. I never give up. And I say that actually in my videos now. I don't quit. I've never known the statement to quit. There have been times, like, for example, if I'm doing something and, like, test-wise or something like that, and I have no idea what I'm doing, and I really just, I know I'm going to fail, I still go, you know what? I got to try this. I got to give 100% and try anyways, no matter what. And there have been times that, that's really, I've come out of the top somehow. I've passed tests that I thought I would fail. I've done things that I thought I would fail at. It's crazy, but it just shows that, you cannot set this boundary and this limitation for you when you have no reason to. Let the world set the limitations for you. Fight to your own limitations, but more so fight through your limitations. You have to actually make sure you always. And I know that may sound kind of preachy, and I know my one friend who hates kind of preaching when it comes to a lot of things. I know he always hates that about me, but I tell people that's just how I am. It's not that I'm trying to preach to anyone. It's more so that I just like telling people what I learned early on, and I hope that my message gets conveyed, because I know some people said that they've taken what I've said at heart. And when you hear something like that, it really makes you think, hey, you have to watch what you say. You can't say stupid crap, because there are people listening to you that may retain your knowledge. You might become a role model for someone, or you might be, someone that might take one of your words and take it further than you thought it might be taken. That's why, like I said before, I said this in the last thank you video, I was bullied a lot in school. I'm not gonna say I wasn't bullied to the point that, like, there was people that were bullied worse than I was, but I had very few friends, and I knew that sucked. It really did. That's why I kind of, that's why to me, I've always understood the word friendship, and I'm very, very particular of that word. You have to, I hate to say it, you have to prove you're my friend in many ways. It's not like the sense that you have to do anything for me. No. But you have to prove that you're not just there for something from me. Friendship is a interesting concept. It's something that people have many different ideals about. For me, I have to be able to trust you. I have to be able to talk to you about things. You have to be able to talk to me about things. You also have to, not lie to me directly. Like, I hate people that lie to me. I really do. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate liars. I really do. It's because more so when I was younger, I had a lot of my friends who I thought were friends that lied to me right to my face, and that hurts. When you're a kid, if you're like 10 years old or 11 years old or 8 or 9, to hear, like for example, one of my friends, I remember one of my thought friends he was telling someone that he felt bad for me. That's why he was my friend. And I remember that was hard. I heard that and I'm like, wow, that's messed up. And that was when I was a kid. I think I was in third grade or yeah, no, I was in fourth grade. I'm sorry. And I remember hearing that. I'm like, wow, that's whew. So it's funny. I always tell this to people I know. It sounds like okay, well, maybe you would end up being that type of person too yourself. Like maybe you would end up being a hard person or a mean person. I never took what people said in a way that makes me bad, I guess, makes me a bad person. I actually have always like ascertained trying to be this good person because I like seeing I like seeing people smile and be happy. I know that sounds crazy to people. Like, I had a comment one time before, where someone said, "Aren't you jealous of someone else who got like so many more subscribers faster than I did at the time?" And I went, "No, you have the jealousy in you. Like, there is no person on the face of this earth that doesn't have a sin in them, in the sense that you might lust after someone, you might have envy for someone, you might have jealousy, rage, whatever. There's no one that doesn't have that in them. The thing about it is how you use it. If I see someone that's doing better than me, what I do with that is I go, you know what? I gotta push a little harder. I gotta try my best. I gotta just work a little harder. Will that get you what you want? No one knows. Only God knows. Yeah, and I am a religious person. I've always been a religious person because I've always said this, and I know people like always think I'm crazy when it comes to it, but uh, you know, I've seen what this world has, the beauties of it, and what the darknesses of it, and it's amazing. This is not by just chance, happenstance. This is by design and thought process. This world was created with so much beauty in it that, okay, so you might see bad people here and there. You might see, things happening that you might fully understand, but I've never fully grasped why people would say that there's no God or no Jesus Christ. This world is just too well thought out to be a explosion that happened, that all of a sudden things started falling from the sky. And I know people always say, well, that's your interpretation. I go, yeah, that is my interpretation. That's also my belief. I'm a Catholic, I'm a Christian. I have strong faith in God. I have strong faith in Jesus Christ. That's how I've always been, and I've never had an issue saying that. Like, I know people go, oh, are you afraid of saying that? Because someone might say something against you. I don't care. Like right now, if I lose 20,000 subscribers, I don't have 20,000 subscribers, but if I lost that many, I went to a negative spot, I wouldn't care because that's what I'm standing for. That's my religious thing. I stand for that. That's hard for people to understand sometimes. But oh, shoot me. What's funny about that is what it has done for me in many ways too is having strong faith makes life a lot better. It makes it where the challenges I've had in life, like for example the bullyings and the stupid crap that I've had to deal with, like my school and life and stuff like that, it's made it where I could get through it without an issue. I would get upset, I would get stressed out by it, but I never had to go, for therapy. I never had like, oh, I'm so messed up. And I never had phases like that. I never did drugs in my life. People always go, you never tried. I never tried a single drug in my life. I never did. Never tried anything. Never want to. Never liked it. Never thought of the concept as interesting. I'm just that type of person. What else can I say? What I got into very early on because of like me kind of getting, I don't want to say socially outcasted, but more so like where I didn't really want to hang out with people a lot, is I got to books a lot earlier. Of course, like I said before, I was able to read so early, but more so even when I was in middle school to junior high, I was always in the library. I said this last video too. I was always in the library. You could find me in the library. I thought one of the best stories I had for that was I wasn't the best student in school. Like I wasn't that I was a bad student. I was never just I was more so at a level that I was okay. I was like an average student. But what was funny was my testing skills, which were amazing always, were I think a sign that teachers knew that I wasn't always giving my 100% in class, because my testing was always at a state level very, very high. it was weird, you know, like I took tests that were hard and I would do well on them, that I would earn rewards and awards in general, because I just was at this level that was beyond proficient and beyond anything else. So people would go, "Oh, well, your son was at an academic level that you haven't seen in a long time." And you know, I remember one time I went to the library. This is one of the best stories I got. One time I went to the library. I was younger. I think it was in I was in seventh grade at the time. I went to the library to kind of escape everything, and I saw seven of my teachers, all seven of my teachers, sitting at a table talking. And I guess they knew each other outside of school, so they were actually friends and stuff like that. So they were talking about stuff. And I tried to hide from them at first, but they saw me, and they went, "Oh!" They pulled me to the side and had me sit at the table. So I was in a table filled with my teachers, and they were all talking about me right in front of me. Like, you know, he goes, "Oh, Aaron's a good kid. You know, he tries his best in class and all that." And another lady I remember, she goes, "Yeah, he needs to try a little harder though." And I remember that was so awkward. I was like, what the heck? Oh my god, it was so awkward. It was so funny, but it was so awkward to have these like seven teachers that I knew around me. I remember though, and talking about you right in front of your face too was funny, I think. But yeah, I hung out at libraries a lot. I was, you know, never really cafeteria type person. What was funny in my high school years, because I'm transitioning to high school. My last year of high school was chaotic, I think, because it's just that I had to deal with a lot of stupid idiots and stuff like that. But as someone who dabbled in martial arts for many, many years, and I was actually very good at martial arts. I was actually, and I tell people this, it's not to brag, but I tell people this. Well, okay, it is to brag a little bit. I'll be honest. But when I was, I think 12 or 13, I was put into an adult class in my martial arts school because I was considered very proficient in it. So I went right away with adults. I was there like the only 14-year-old, 13-year-old with people that were in their 40s, you know, people in 30s, people in mid 20s, but it was funny. It was really cool. But I was able to always hold my own in a fight if I had to. I never got into huge fights. Like, I mean, I got into fights, but I never got into fights that would have wrecked my record or anything like that. So, realistically, you know, you can go back to my schooling and be like, well, it doesn't show me in a fight, because I never got into a fight that ever was that big of a deal. Like, I always told people that it's like, you know, it was little fights, little skirmishes here and there, but it was just because I was defending myself, and that's why I never got in trouble for any of that stuff. You know, it was always caught that someone would like try to engage a fight with me, for example, and I'd have to fight back a little bit just to protect myself. It wasn't like I'm trying to hurt someone else, and I've never believed in fighting to other people to hurt them. That's just my thing. But it was weird. You know, I think Rocco said I was like I was in Fight Club, and I'm like, you know, in many ways, I know it sounds crazy, but it seemed like Fight Club, at least to me, when I was in ninth grade, because I swear to God, fights would just randomly occur. Um, I moved to PA my 10th grade year, so my freshman, my sophomore year. Yeah, I lived there up until my second year of college. I loved Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was cool. It was very quiet. It was so much quieter than the city. You have like I didn't live really per se in a very chaotic place of the city. Like I lived in Long Island, but that wasn't chaotic until mostly um, after 9/11. 9/11 really changed New York to the kind of point that everyone scattered around because they were afraid to live in the city. So there was a lot more people in Long Island at the time, and I remember that was hard. You know, that was a transition that really changed, I think, a lot of things for Long Island. Because you had a lot of riffraff going to Long Island. I'm not saying that per se to be mean, but there was a lot of riffraff that joined Long Island and went to the schools and really caused a lot of problems with the infrastructure of Long Island. Because Long Island used to be a very calm and collected place, and then it became this, I want to say, like, seedier place. Like, it's not that bad now. Don't get me wrong. Now Long Island's a great area, but there are places in Long Island that really suck, and their stemming of their birth was essentially because of 9/11 and stuff like that. Because people got scared, you know. It's understandable. People got scared. They wanted to leave. They didn't want to be in the major city anymore after something like that happened. You know, God forbid it happened again. They just wanted to leave and, you know, kind of get to a safer area. But so it caused me and my family to essentially move to PA. And I moved to PA. I had a great time in PA. You know, I still dealt with some issues here and there. But what was funny is I made a lot more friends really fast. Like, I became this very popular guy. And another story I had, which was really funny, I think, for you guys, is I had my own fan club I kid you not, guys and girls. I had my own fan club. It was weird. It was these three girls that I still to this day do not know who the hell they are. I don't know their names. I don't know what classes they were in, but they would always come up to me and call me out, and I'd be like, who are you? And they would just laugh and go, you know who we are. And they weren't in any of my classes. I never had them in any of my classes. I thought maybe one of my friends put them up to do that, but they did it not for 1 year. They did it for 2.5 years of my school. It was weird. It was kind of cool at one point, but that was kind of creepy where they would follow me to class, and I would leave class and they'd be right outside the class, and it was like, I always asked, did like someone put you up to this? Like, actually do this? And they go, no, we just like you, and I'm like, why? Do I know you? Do I know you from a class? And no, they didn't know me for anything. They just liked me for some reason. It was weird. And they would like just run around and do weird, goofy stuff. They chased me to classes sometimes. It was weird. It was weird. It sounds cool, but it was weird at the same time. It was one of those weird moments in my high school life. My high school life though was pretty uneventful in a lot of ways. I had some cool stories for that, but I'll save those for like other videos because I want to save those for that. And like I said, I don't want this to go too far, time wise. But one thing that I want to end this kind of video with, like, last like maybe 5 minutes at least. One thing that shaped me in life is being bullied and stuff like that. That is a big thing in my life that it really, people go, well, I've been bullied worse. Yeah, I'm not saying I've been bullied worse than anyone else, or worse, that's not even a word, worse than anyone else individually. I'm just saying that I was bullied and it was hard. But the thing is that I never made it to a bad person because of it. What I actually gathered from that was I understood more so people's expressions and more so who to trust and who not to trust. Not by just like, oh, I look at someone, I know who they are, and run. No, it's not that. It's just that you could feel how people are treating you, and you can tell when they start talking to you and how they talk, their tones and stuff like that. You can tell who's a friend and who's kind of just wants something from you. But what it made me do was I appreciated people, and I understood bullying more, I think, from the concept that I actually was not one to ever bully anyone. I treated, I think, one or two people badly, but that's because they kind of weren't nice people to me, so I treated them badly in return. But what's funny is I always felt bad about that. Even then, it's like, well, I feel bad in general about that. But I understood that bullying sucks, and so what I did in my life was I always made sure that no one else was bullied. I always stood up for the people. I stood up for the lower, like, I remember in high school, my senior year, freshmen were always bullied, it's supposed to be like bully hazing and stuff in my school. I never participated in that. I told people, I would actually warn some of the freshmen if they were like being targeted for like a hazing, about to be hazed for something. And don't get me wrong, we weren't like they weren't hazing people in a bad way. They were hazing them like in a way that they would try to embarrass them or do something stupid to them. But I used to warn them, and I would stop a few of the people I knew. Would be like, hey, don't do this, man. This is not cool to other people. And I used to never understood why schools did that, but a lot of schools do that to freshmen during and I guess the initiation concept of it. But I'm like, sometimes people will take those things that as a joke. They sometimes take it seriously. And so you might think it's a joke one day, but then someone else could be changed for that forever. So I became, though, what I think about my life was, what was interesting was toward my I want to say toward my sophomore year, I became this person who was always seeked out to be helped with like issues. Like, people would always come up to me, ask me for help with certain things, personal life things. And I had a nickname, not really, it wasn't a nickname that actually stuck with anyone, except it only stuck with certain people, but that's why I really don't say it was a nickname. But I was called the wise man, I was called the old man. I had premature gray hairs and white hairs when I was like in, I think, freshman year. Like, right now I have about like maybe 15 or 20 white hairs on my head. It's funny. But yeah, I was always this guy who was seen as the person that shouldn't belong in this time period. And I always laugh because I am more old school, because my parents treated me more old school and they taught me older things, like, how to, for example, respect women. One thing that I don't understand people is how they don't respect women. It actually pisses me off when people don't. How to do certain things that were more so how to do with work ethic, how to kind of deal with issues, and how to not to deal with certain things. And I was also raised by the world of my current generation, which is, anime and video games and all this stuff. So I am a man of two time periods. It seems like I love older music. I am into older movies. I love newer movies. I love video games. I love anime. Um, I am one of the weirdest people when it comes to that. Like you'll if you ever meet me in real life and stuff like that, or if you listen to me talk, you'll be like, what the hell? He likes all this weird stuff. I am. I'm gonna say I dabble in everything. My hobbies are more so me reading, writing, anime, of course, video games. I do like to run. I like to run a lot. I tell people it's really nice stress relief when you run or you go for a walk. If you're really stressed out, just go for a walk. Find some area that's safe and just walk around for a little bit, and you'll realize how it really does something to your I guess your mind, thought of mind. I hope that didn't cut out, by the way, because my screen went black for a second. That was funny. I guess 25 minutes, and it's like, oh, you haven't done anything. I'm like, I am recording right now. That's me doing something technically. Dang. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't want to go super long with this. I'll probably end this in a couple moments, but I say that my story is that I've learned from people how to be a type of person I want to be. I chose to be a happy person. Like, I'm a very happy person by nature. If I ever get stressed out, if I ever get worried about something or anxious about something, it does not last for more than maybe like 2 minutes. And I am very calm and collected in situations and stuff like that. I have, trust me, a whole bunch of stories to tell you that might seem likewise, especially during high school. But I will tell them to you as I'll tell you as the time goes by. I'll tell you guys a little more about myself. But I just kind of want to tell you this random stuff in my life. I want to tell you kind of where I came from, what made me into the person I am. I am this person who strives for to make other people happy. I want to make people smile. I like other people that say that, because it's something that I think is very hard to do, is make people smile. You might think it's easy to do, but it's something that your impact is something that will actually transition sometimes the way you might not think it will. Talking to someone or commenting to someone, or just saying one or two phrases that might seem to resonate with someone will really change their life. And you might have to realize that sometimes, if it's not that you per se are going to feel like you did something wrong, or you're going to be like, oh, I messed up, I caused something to happen to this person, I don't want that to ever happen. It's more so that you just have to watch what you say. You have to watch, the stupid comments that come out of your mouth sometimes, because I know people sometimes don't think before they speak. My mom used to always say that. She used to say that words are strong, that words are very powerful. And what's funny is that because I am a writer and stuff by nature. When I write, I always see myself that sometimes your writing will actually have impacts on people that read it. Like, I've had a few people read my stories, and they told me that they really were inspired by it. And I'm like, what were you inspired by? It was a fantasy story. And it's like, well, just how the character is, or how they dealt with this situation, inspired me to do something different. So words have power. They really do. I hope I didn't bore you with this, guys. I really hope so. I hope you like this, and I hope this was a good special, 200 special. But anyways, I think that's where I'll end it right here. I'll end it before it gets to 30 minutes. I always feel bad. Like, I know my thank you video was 20 something minutes long, and I told people, I don't know how the hell people are gonna watch this, but apparently you guys do. You guys like it, and I'm glad you do. Even if I'll tell you right now, even if I only had 5 people ever liking my videos, it'd be something more than I think more than enough. I'm glad more people view my videos. Don't get me wrong, trust me. If it was only 5, I think maybe I would stop after a while. But I'm happy with what I got right now. I'm happy with the 30 to 40 to sometimes 100. I'm very happy with that. I don't want any more or less than that. If my channel grows, all the more power to it. I'm happy, but it's, like I said, always been a hobby of mine to do this channel, so it's not like per se I need to get those subscribers or need that. I just would like more subscribers, because I would like to get popular doing this. I would like to, increase my views of anime and stuff like that to more people, but that's it. If I ever hit like 20,000 subscribers, or if I hit like, maybe actually realistic, if I hit like 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that, I would then maybe think of making this as some like extra income. But otherwise, it's like, that's not a big deal. It's right now a hobby. Until I get to like 1,000, it'd probably always be a hobby until then. But yeah, okay. Like I said, I'm gonna end this video now. I keep saying it, right? I keep going on. I hope you guys like this. I hope you have a great weekend, because it's coming on Saturday. I will talk to you all later. Feel free to put in the comments below what you want as a kind of, I guess, visual novel, because I'm gonna do more visual novels on this channel. I'm gonna probably put one up on Sunday. Tell me what you guys want more of visual novel wise, and I'll have more of those up. Anyways, guys, have a great weekend. Like I said, I'll talk to you all later. Bye bye.